We have the population age above age 85 is the fastest growing in North America. The population over 100 doubling every decade since the 1950s. Chronic diseases more likely to kill people who only live to 80 or 90. Most centenarians dying from pneumonia or just frailty rather than cancer or heart disease, so they're avoiding those chronic conditions. And there are more centenarians, people over age 100 alive today than in past centuries. And that's also true of Canada. Statistics Canada expects a 9-fold increase in the number of centenarians during the next 50 years. That's a number reaching 62,000 by 2060 compared to just 7,000 in 2013. So Canada is expecting a surge in the centenarian population. And how many people here want to be part of the centenarian population? Absolutely, and living well and enjoying life. So we have a distorted concept of aging in general. A lot of people, in matter of fact, are afraid of living a long life, and you'll actually meet these folks and they'll admit to that when you talk to them. So poor lifestyle choices are made early on to have all the fun now and purposely trying to avoid that long life, which they're not looking forward to. These individuals can be very disappointed to find that they're in fact living with premature disability rather than premature death. So you're still alive, just your quality of life is very low because of some of the poor lifestyle choices that you made early on. People say, if I had known I was going to live as long as I am, I would have taken better care of myself, because I'd like to still be enjoying my life, and now I'm not able to. So really there is no need to grow old in the traditional sense of the word. We can continue everything that we enjoy now up until age 90. This should be the potential for really everyone. Most people's genetics will allow for great health into age 90 and hopefully beyond. So this should be expectation that we all sort of have in terms of what's achievable for us. You might ask the question, why do some people age faster than others? And this is business of biologic versus chronologic age. And this was studied in 1,000 men and women in New Zealand, folks born 1972 to 73, lots of testing, kidney and liver function, lung capacity, metabolic, immune function, cholesterol, blood pressure, dental status, eye structure, heart health, telomere length for the DNA. In 2011, when these subjects were aged 38, the biologic age, or how old their bodies were behaving, ranged from as young as 30 to as old as 60, when the actual chronologic age, what was on their driver's licenses, is only 38. Some gaining 3 biological years for every single chronologic years, while others seem to have their biologic age essentially on pause. They're marching forward at time, but their bodies don't appear to be getting any older. You know, obviously that's the position that we'd like to be in. The older your biologic age, worse performance on physical and mental acuity tests, worse balance and poorer motor coordination, more trouble climbing stairs, carrying your groceries. There was a clear relationship between looking older on the outside and aging faster on the outside. So it's going to show. And how possibly do we preserve our biologic age even when our chronologic age is unavoidably advancing? So you might be older than you think. How quick are you growing old? We recognize that we have to measure biologic aging faster and in a leaner and more efficient fashion, so we can reverse aging processes earlier because we're aware of them earlier before the person is showing exterior signs of being older or complaining about their health problems. We know that how fast older people walk is a very useful marker of their future health. Exercise can help you keep walking faster. Strength can improve through some resistance training. There's balance training regimens. A good index is preserving your ability to walk quickly. So focus on that and use that as a little bit of a hallmark or checkpoint in your own life to your own advancement of biological age. The ends of life has its roots in early life. Investing in health in your middle age is going to have payoff in older age. So lots of tips for us there. Medical disability versus great health at age 90. The World Health Organization says that you are likely to be medically disabled by age 69. That's the statistic nationally. Current life expectancy is now 79 years in the US. That tells you the last 10 years of your life, you will be lived with chronic medical conditions, lots of medications, and many doctor's visits. And believe me, I have scores of these sorts of folks in my clinic. You want to do the best you can for them. At the same time, you feel sorry for people and wonder what life may have been if different decisions were made earlier. So again, living well until age 90 should be attainable. And why leave 21 high-quality years on the table, as they say? So achieving greatest longevity, and this is results from what is known as the Physician's Health Study, men versus women, disability versus longevity. In the US, men generally become medically disabled and die several years younger than women. We know this. It was observed that male physicians in the United States do seem to thrive. And so a study was proposed. What can we learn from long-lived male physicians who live to 90 and beyond without medical disability? And by the way, women's chance of hitting 90 is even higher. So let's learn from the weaker gender, if you like, and see what we can find. And this was a Harvard study. And here we see 3 generations of Harvard cardiologists, including a grandfather of modern cardiology, who's Dr. Eugene Braunwald. And not sure his age, I'm quite sure it's above 80, and still goes to work every day, lectures, and making an active contribution. So the Physician Health Study from Harvard, there was number 1. This was from 1982 to 1995. And they were really looking at aspirin and some supplements. And the second one, looking at more supplements and multivitamins. Those conclusions were not too impressive. But in the process, they were able to identify 7 factors critical to longevity in these male US docs. All right? If you follow all 7, you're likely to be alive and well at age 70. If you miss even one, according to their results, you are not likely to make it or be doing well at age 90. So what 7 factors were identified in this study? First was don't smoke. Every cigarette costs 11 minutes of your life, adds up to dying 10 years earlier, rapid aging and premature medical disability. So no smoking if you want to make it to 90. If you smoke or you have smoked, don't throw in the towel. You can regain those life years. You don't have to be the statistic, but let's recognize what the studies have shown. Prevent or reverse your diabetes. Diabetes can subtract statistically 9 years from your life, medical disability 20 years earlier. 90% of adult onset diabetes is thought to be completely preventable. And even if it is genetically or medically not possible to reverse your diabetes, do everything you can to keep your hemoglobin A1C levels in the normal range, or at least as close to normal range as possible. Give yourself the best chance of minimizing complications from diabetes. Check your blood pressure. High blood pressure wears out your heart, arteries, and other organs. Your goal is 120 over 80. Anything over is probably aging you somewhat. Can cost you 5 years of high quality life from heart attack and other problems. Many patients can reverse high blood pressure and get off medications with an unwavering commitment to a healthy lifestyle. So if blood pressure is an issue, stay on your medications to keep your blood pressure normal. Work at your lifestyle to be able to reduce those doses and hopefully come off of a few agents. What is your blood pressure? That's the pressure that your arteries require for your heart to fill them. So the higher your blood pressure, the higher your peripheral vasculature is demanding of your heart to fill. So if your heart has to generate higher pressures every time to fill your blood vessels, and it's doing that 100,000 times a day, like we said, for days, weeks, months, years at a time, you can believe that over days, weeks, months, and years, that your heart is going to start experiencing fatigue, and it's going to add up and predispose you to heart failure and premature death. So maintaining our blood pressure at optimal levels, one of the single most important things that we can do for our own longevity. Physical activity Every hour of sitting costs 22 minutes of your life. Any form of sitting, you can ask, how much is watching TV costing you? The physicians in the health study living to age 90 and beyond were physically active their entire lives. And in case you think they might be ahead of you or you can never keep up, FYI, it takes a lot of sitting to become a doctor. So they have spent a significant amount of time sitting, I can promise you that. Life is full of second chances. It's what you do with the rest of your time. It's not what you did, it's what you do next. That's an expression I've appreciated. Maintaining a lean body weight. So physicians above age 90 were a lean group, average body mass index of 24. 25 or higher is considered overweight. Obesity can cost you 9 years. Like diabetes, you can be medically disabled 20 years earlier if you're always packing around a lot of weight. Your lean body weight is the weight of your vital organs and essential tissues without the fat. As we age, typically like this yellow line goes, age 10 up to age 80, our weight tends to slowly increase. While it is increasing, our lean body mass is typically declining, so our muscles are atrophying and going away, and those are being replaced with fat, such that our overall weight is increasing. We want to be aware of this process and actively preserving our lean body mass, your muscle mass. So activities that strengthen and replace muscle, very important as we get older. And let's not be fooled and say just because our weight is basically the same, that our body composition is basically the same. Expect this shift to be happening. Lean body mass declining while fat stores are increasing. And engage in those processes to maintain your lean body weight. Education. Many studies have shown that more education and you are more likely to avoid medical disability and live a long life. If you've not finished high school, that can cost you 9 years of life. Not finished college, that can cost you 5 years of life. It's never too late. There's online courses. Studying now may help you avoid Alzheimer's later. Let's be aware that our education level might be important. If you have a low educational level, keep studying, stay interested, keep reading. If you have education, don't get sluggish. We recognize that overall it's protective. Finally, number 7 from the Physician Health Study, a calling in life. And most physicians felt that their occupation was a calling in life. So this kind of came easily. There was little separating work and personal, driven by a desire to help people, and that improving health and longevity. A strong sense of purpose is thought to be worth about 4 years of life. Having no purpose, just existing, puts you at risk for Alzheimer's disease. So explore why you are here on earth, ask the bigger questions, decide what legacy you want to leave behind, and commit your life to having a meaningful result. And it's never too late to start. And having some guiding sense of purpose and a strong sense of purpose is something we should pursue deliberately for the sake of prolonging our lives and staying healthy. Factors surprisingly not associated with health and longevity in that study. And it's interesting because next we're going to look at the blue zones where some of these things were important. But the idea of being socially connected. Physicians feel needed and connected anyway because of their jobs, so they didn't need a lot of socialization outside of that. Dr. John Day, who was part of this article, says, every week I go to church, at least several neighbors will come up to me and ask me for help regarding a medical situation, and that's part of his contribution, very interestingly. I think that's also a reason why some physicians don't go to church. Nevertheless, that social connectedness kind of gets built in. Wine consumption showed no benefit in the Physician Health Study. Cholesterol numbers, the older you get, cholesterol numbers don't seem to matter as much. And it's true. Those risk factors are kind of in place, and the absolute number doesn't seem to matter. And that shouldn't surprise us based on our discussion of cholesterol. Particle size versus absolute number versus oxidized cholesterol versus not oxidized cholesterol. There's ways where we can increase particle size. There's ways to protect our cholesterol from oxidative damage, make that number really a benign number and not something that's going to dictate what happens to us and how early we may pass away. So make it work for you. You don't have to be a physician to enjoy great health at 90. From this article, strict adherence to a lifestyle study shows that most Seventh-day Adventists, Mormons, and Okinawans can live to age 90. So if you know any Seventh-day Adventists, you might want to talk to them and ask them what it is about their lifestyle that's unique and consider adopting those things for yourself. You can continue to enjoy excellent health to age 90 and beyond. That should be possible for almost anyone with any genetic composition. Unhealthy lifestyle choices now, is it really worth being medically disabled 20 years younger? Really, it's not. And as soon as that happens, you'll wish you had tried harder earlier. We can avoid this scenario, someone looking a little haggard, a little beaten down, list a prescription list longer than your arm, and wondering how they're ever going to come off of these pills. Believe me, this is not the place where we want to be if we can at all avoid it, and we're here to talk about ways to avoid exactly that scenario. And believe me, I see it all the time. So, achieving greatest longevity. Societies with outstanding longevity, and what can we learn? This was studied in a book called The Blue Zones, looking at geographic areas where people live much longer. Japan, Greece, Italy, Costa Rica, Loma Linda, California. What characteristics account for tremendous longevity in individuals living in this place, and what can we learn from them? And what do they all share in common, which is predisposing them to excellent longevity? Very interesting and remarkable how long some people are living and how well they are doing in certain regions. It's really quite striking because we don't live surrounded by these kinds of folks. So our conception of what might be possible and what might even be routine in some places gets a little bit colored. So 9 similarities in the blue zones. Plant power, eating veggies way more than meats or processed foods. 80% rule, stop eating when you're 80% full. When you feel 80% full, because you really are full, you don't want to burn your engines harder than you need to. Red wine showed up, purple grapes can substitute. We saw from the physician health study that red wine was not a longevity signal. Activity, make moving unavoidable. If you live in Okinawa, you might not have any chairs in your house, so you spend all day getting up and down off the floor. Okay, that's good for you, because if you're doing that every day, you're going to do it much longer than somebody who's not doing that every day. Downshift, work less, slow down, rest. Diffusing stress was just a huge part of their success. The idea of a plan de vida, having a purpose in life, belonging to a healthy social network, having spiritual or religious belief and participation. Longevity, strong sense of pride, of tribe, making your family a priority and being involved in your family. And we have examples of longevity record holders. Here's the longest living woman in recent history from France, Jean-Louise Calmet. If you asked her what she did, she would say laughter, immune to stress, olive oil, and some port wine were her secrets. You are not a statistic. This lady smoked 1 cigarette per day for 96 years while having her glass of wine. She ate nearly 1 kilogram of chocolate per week, which might actually have been doing her a tremendous favor. On her 122nd and final birthday, she threw down a challenge. She said, 122 years, can anyone beat that? And so far, no one's beat that. You're welcome to challenge her. Here's a gentleman who lived to be age 113. What was his success? Healthy diet, no cigarettes, no alcohol, milk every afternoon. Hard to argue with somebody when they're that age. Strong sense of purpose. Here's a British stockbroker, saved almost 700 children during the Holocaust. He won the White Lion Award in Prague at age 105. And here he is at the time of that award, age 105. I'd like to be looking that good at age 105. Personality secrets of the centenarians. We talked about these. Do you have the right personality to live to be 100? 4,400 people in the U.S. 4,400 people in the U.S. Are at age 100 right now. Living to 100, not determined by lucky genes. About 25% is genetic, 75% of longevity to 100 is lifestyle choice. Lifestyle is affected by your personality because we choose what to do each day based on our personality. Personality gives you your priorities, your stress level, your mindset, your relationships, and more. So you can adopt an appropriate personality to bias you towards longevity. What did these people find? Multiple centenarian studies, people living beyond 100. They're easygoing, they're optimistic, they love to laugh, they're outgoing. Traits may be partly due to genes, but also highly influenced by behavior. So, what is it about being easygoing? Stress and anxiety really do age us rapidly. They shorten our telomeres. They're degrading the quality of our DNA. Laid back is associated with healthier DNA and longevity. Optimists eat right, they exercise, they believe they'll live longer, so they take care of themselves. Buys them 8 years on average. Laughter has all sorts of physiologic, psychologic, social, spiritual, quality of life benefits. People who laugh regularly are at lower risk of heart attack because they're always diffusing that stress. Outgoing, make friends and form meaningful relationships, elevates your mood, diffuses stress. Spend time with children for the purpose of silly play and to laugh, leave your serious focus behind. You can watch comedies, recall that other people are, at least 90% of other people are also shy, help you be more outgoing, keep it in mind to your advantage, reach out to make a social connection, have the thought to develop a new friend every day. Not that you're gonna do it, because you don't run into that many people necessarily, but if you have that goal, it changes your outlook, and you're watching for chances to go up to people and meet them, listen to them, make a connection, have a new friend, even if you don't really like doing it. I'm an introvert, I get it. Those social connections, and possibly more for introverts, really are strong in pulling us in the direction of longer life. So a few more tips. That 10-year perspective, is it important 10 years? If not, let it go. Eliminate the clutter. Only say yes to essential things on purpose. Say no to a lot of good but really non-essential things. Don't become frazzled and overwhelmed. Keep a gratitude journal to help maintain your optimism. Have physical activity. It boosts your feel-good hormones, sense of well-being, helps you relax. Lots of tips for living to 100. Supercentenarians. Supercentenarians, what are those? Those are people who live to 110 and beyond. I'd like to live to 110 and beyond. There's about 60 in the US and 300 worldwide at any one time, people living to 110 years and beyond and doing it well. People really living to the limit of the human lifespan right now. Beyond 100, less time is spent with age-related diseases like cancer, heart disease, dementia, or stroke. Physically and mental sharp for a greater proportion of your life if you're at 110. You're behaving like those 10, 20, 30 years your junior. These folks seem to compress the time with disability and disease to the very, very ends of their lives. And that's conclusions that have been made from carefully studying these particular individuals. If you are a centenarian, you're alive at 100, you're one of three. You're a survivor, meaning you were diagnosed with an age-related illness before 80, but you made it anyway. You're a delayer, you had no age-related illness till at least age 80, or you're an escaper. You had no age-related illness at all before age 100. You tend to fall into one of those categories. Some people do persist despite deadly diseases, put off acquiring diseases longer, and avoid diseases altogether. One of these categories. Impressive lack of disability in the centenarians. 90% and above living independently at age 93, dealing with disease much better than others. So those coping mechanisms just tend to be very good. Compared to centenarians, supercentenarians have shorter and shorter periods of disease and disability before they died. It's this compression of morbidity hypothesis. Any disease they squished into a very small portion of their life that was right at the end. Supercentenarians, all 300, delay any disease toward the end of their lives, unlike older people in the general population or other centenarians who are very mixed in terms of what diseases they have and when they got them. So these people aren't experiencing disease early. To get to that 110 group, it's really almost no disease right to the end. So that puts you in a very unique pod. It's largely genetic. The longer you live, the more your genes take credit. About 20% of living to age 85 or 90 is genetic. That influence is much higher once you hit about 106. A winning combination of genes protects you from most or even all of the age-related diseases. Just lucky. It's like 8 or 9 lucky draws out of 10. Not just one lucky draw. You really did win the lottery over and over again. And studying these people may hold the key to treatments for diseases that are killing the rest of us. And as the author of the Centenarian studies would conclude, and I love this quote, he says, for now, the best bet for living beyond 78.8, which is the average life expectancy in the United States, is prevention. His quote, if we want to see average life expectancy go up, we have to start acting like Seventh-day Adventists who have been shown to live longer thanks to their vegetarian, active, drug, alcohol, and smoking-free lifestyle. So off to a great model that's recognized in the medical literature and demonstrated to be a high longevity group in the blue zone. A book by Dan Buettner. What we want to do is be a part of that population and even make that population even more exemplary by being meticulous with our commitment to lifestyle and prevention. A few tips to age gracefully: for nice skin, sunscreen, moisturizer, and retinoid cream. You start at age 20, your skin will continue to look much younger. Retinoids are where the magic happens. This vitamin A derivative teaches your skin to act young again, stimulates collagen, prevents the fine lines. So if you want to keep looking young and smooth while you live forever, that really may be where the magic is happening. Get a move on. We talked about it. Catch enough sleep. We talked about it. All sorts of benefits. Embrace your grays. Gray hair can look stunning. It can be sophisticated if you have the right haircut or do. Exude confidence. Let's not try to look longer and fake everyone necessarily. Goal is to look your best every day. Positive beliefs about aging can help you live 7.5 years longer. So let's go for confidence. Proud of who you are, proud of the age you are, and you're already going to look younger, and you'll probably live longer as well. Revise your style. If you're stuck in a style rut or a time warp, changing it is an expression of what you're sending out to the world, what's going on inside of you, and really that can be energizing. A 2010 study showed that women who got their hair colored or cut and thought they looked younger had lower blood pressure. So they showed a positive correlation between looking good, feeling good about how you look, and some hard health endpoints that we're all pursuing. After age 50, it comes down to those who are aging versus those who are aging gracefully. Are you one of those who is getting better and better with each passing year, or someone else? The graceful agers are aging smarter. That's what they're doing. It's what they aren't doing that's helping them age successfully. Don't wear too much makeup. It really isn't making you more attractive. Use makeup to enhance your natural beauty. Keep your makeup clean and natural in appearance. Are you getting too much TV? This is that sitting problem. If you're too comfortable, it's particularly dangerous if you're older. Valuable time just slipping through your fingers. Every hour of TV watched after age 25 costing you 22 minutes of life expectancy by some estimates. Every hour after the age 25 costing you 22 minutes of life. So for everyone here who's over the age of 25, time to really rein in your TV watching. Puts you vulnerable to sedentary lifestyle and social isolation as you get all of your socialization or more of it from this inanimate object that will never reciprocate. Again, attention to stress. Stress is unavoidable. We all have family, work, and finances. Can cause a barrage of health problems: sleeplessness, depression, heart disease. Stress can make you appear 10 years older. People who age gracefully learn to manage their stress. It's the experience of the stress that's so devastating. If it's meditation or exercise, taking a couple minutes for yourself, unplug from the technology, walk away from it, good for your health. Highly beneficial for your inside and your outside to tame stress. And that's been a really conscious part of my focus in recent years. Overindulging, sure, you should live a little. We all feel we should. Moderation is key to aging gracefully. Whatever your vice, fatty foods, sweets, sodas, coffees, whatever you're cheating on and know you shouldn't, and probably won't give up, moderation is really the key. And we can all improve our temperance. So to summarize, we've talked about a couple of things, important topics, not to be underestimated in their contribution to the quality of our lives and our longevity. Our sleep, it's a quarter of your life, so do it well. We talked about morning routines to get our day and each day off to on the best start possible. We talked about the importance of alkalinity and using lemon water, that whole lemon, the entire thing ground up, where we're taking a teaspoon daily, halting the aging process in your body, really giving you a strong bias towards no cancer, a very important part of our routines. Longevity, we talked about biological aging and the importance of actually knowing our biological age, not just our chronologic age on our driver's licenses. We talked about the physician health study, blue zones for longevity. We talked about living to 90s. All of us should be able to live into our 90s. Centenarians, not out of reach for most people. Supercentenarians, probably lucky genes. Maybe you got them. Only one way to find out, and that's to live that old. Aging gracefully, sunscreen, moisturizer, retinoids, let's not avoid, that's also protecting you from cancer. Style, confidence, makeup, and we talked about the importance of minimizing stress and not overindulging.